Hi, and welcome to the Shoot from the Heart podcast with me, Diane Bell. If you want to write a script, make a movie, or quite simply live an abundant and creatively fulfilled life, you are in the right place. Each week I'll share with you tips, techniques, and real-world information that will inspire and empower you on your path. Thank you so much for joining me. I am rooting for you all the way. Let's do this. Hello, gorgeous screenwriters and filmmakers, and welcome to episode 117 of the Shoot from the Heart podcast. How are you guys today? Well, it is getting hot here in Spain. I am sitting here with the fan blasting on me, but I gotta admit, I love summer, so I'm just so happy and so enjoying it. And I thought I'd record this before I head down to the beach for an evening swim, and I cannot wait to get in the sea today. But today, what I wanted to have a conversation with you about is this idea of a standout screenplay and what it really takes to write one. I think this has got to be one of the most important questions when we go on this journey of writing a screenplay, because we all know the statistics. And the statistics are, of the hundreds of thousands of screenplays that are written every year, very, very few will actually be made into movies. And we've got to ask ourselves, what is it about those ones that makes them stand out? Why are those the ones that get sold and ultimately get made, that get financed? What is so special about them? Now, if we watch movies at all, you might immediately be thinking, Diane, they're not all that special. You're absolutely right. Many movies get made that have mediocre scripts at best. But what we want to concern ourselves still is, how do we actually ensure that what we write has that chance of being made? Because honestly, if it doesn't have a chance of being made, it's kind of like, what's the point? I mean, screenplays are different from other kinds of writing because the screenplay is not ultimately the work of art. The screenplay is the blueprint for the work of art. And it's heartbreaking, but if your movie doesn't get made, the work of art is never realized. It's never fully formed. It got halfway, but it didn't get all the way. So I really want to make sure that everyone who comes into my world and who works with me is on the path to writing something that really has the chances standing out and getting made. I don't want you to waste your time writing something that's like, that's never going to happen. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what the secrets to a standout script are and make sure that you are on the right path from the beginning. Now, the minute we start talking about standout, we realize we're not just talking about proficiency. We're not just talking about being able to follow rules. We're not just talking about good structure and good formatting. These are given. Obviously, if you're going to sell a screenplay or you're going to convince people to give you money to make your movie, it better be of professional standard. And that means you do have a literacy in screenwriting formatting and in story structure. Now, screenwriting formatting, I believe, is much easier than a lot of people would make it out to be. It's pretty simple. It's not that complicated. I teach it extremely well in my Write Your Screenplay in 8 Weeks course in a way that just takes out all the fear around it. It's not that big of a deal. Screenwriting story structure, on the other hand, this can seem a little bit more enigmatic or more difficult. There are whole books about it. There are whole courses about it. But again, I believe that story structure is something that's really inherent in us. We know how to tell a good story. We know what a good story is. We do have that in our DNA, I believe. And we can overcomplicate it with all these theories and formulas, and this has to happen by this page and that has to happen by that page. But I think that if we just trust the story that's coming through us and really pay attention to how we're making people feel every step of the way in our screenplay, we're on the right track. Now, as I said, formatting and structure are just the basics. That's not what's going to make your story stand out or your screenplay stand out. I think the first hallmark of a true standout screenplay is it's personal, and it feels like it could only have been written by the person who wrote it. If you're writing a screenplay that is pretty generic, and I'm reading it and I really have no sense of why it matters, who's for, what is meant to make me feel, this is not going to be a standout screenplay. And this is why I'll often advocate for getting away from formulas, getting away from conventional wisdom. I believe that you, if you're going to write a standout screenplay, first and foremost, you have to tune into your own heart and you have to be guided by what is telling you. So if you desire to write a love story, even though everybody's like, Diane, love stories don't sell, they don't get made. You go to those sessions at AFM or at any other film festival, and the people up on the stage are saying, don't bother writing family dramas. You won't be able to sell family dramas. So you're like, oh my God, I better not write it, even though that's what I really want to write. I just always call hooey on that, because every single year, there's at least one movie that is a breakout success that makes no sense. That everybody's like, oh, we thought that was dead. Oh, we thought nobody wanted those anymore. Oh, we thought that was played out. Oh, we thought that was done. And guess what? Along comes one and blows everyone out of the water. So I believe your best work is always going to happen when you follow your heart, when you write the truth that is inside you, when you trust the story that is coming through you, and you don't freaking compromise on that. I believe that fear is the number one thing that will stop you from writing a standout screenplay. Fear that you're being too much, fear that it's too crazy, fear that it's too boring, fear that it's too slow, fear that it's too action-packed, fear that whatever it is that your fear is, and so you're tempering it down. You're trying to make it more palatable to more people. That's exactly what gets you on the fast track to mediocrity. However, when you just lean into your weirdness, your madness, your awkwardness, your strangeness, your passions, your loves, what you think is amazing, that's when you start to get on the path to a standout screenplay. Now, I frequently say this, but your screenplay doesn't need to be perfect to stand out. In fact, if you look at the whole process of selling a screenplay, it's not the case that somebody comes along and says, I read the script, it's amazing, let's go into production tomorrow. This is not typically how it works. In fact, in my experience, it usually works far more like this. We love your screenplay, but there's definitely improvement to be made. Okay? And now they give you some money, and it's game on, let's improve the screenplay together. And you get a bunch of notes, and you make it better. So your goal when you're writing a standout screenplay is not to write a perfect screenplay, is to write one that is undeniably what it is. So what do I mean by this? A producer reading it should know absolutely, fully, instinctively, without any shred of doubt if it's for them or not. And they will know that when it actually really stands for something, when it is bold, when it is uncompromising, when it is what it is what it is meant to be. It is not trying to be all things to all people, and it's not trying to be many different things. It's just itself. When you have really unequivocally planted a flag in the ground with your script to say, I believe in this, I love this. So yeah, it's a family drama when everybody's saying family dramas don't get made. But my God, it's a family drama with heart. And this is really, to me, the secret of a standout screenplay. I can feel it when I'm reading it. When a screenwriter is going all in, they're not worrying about ticking boxes. They're not worrying what people would think. They're not worrying about whether it will rank in a certain competition. They're just purely giving voice to the story that is coming through them. And they push all their chips into that. And it just feels undeniable, this verve, this life in the screenplay. Too many screenplays are like shadow puppet plays. The characters are two-dimensional at best. The plot is well-worn. The way it's written is safe and following what we've been told it should look like. And the net result of this is a screenplay that might be adequate, that might be fine, but it's not going to rock anyone's boat. When you write a screenplay that's really just from your heart, uncompromising, it is what it is. You just go, this is what I want to write. I'm writing it. I'm like going to ignore what everybody else says to an extent and just write what I believe. That is your path to the standout screenplay. And that's what will get you noticed. And that's what will move mountains for you. So the number one secret really is write from your heart. trust your heart and get into that. Now, obviously, that's not always as easy as it sounds, because many of us will find we want to do that, we desire to do that, but somehow we still just stay safe. We stay in the surface. There's some tools that can really help you get deeper, get beyond. I'm a big believer in the power of music to get us into the zone of writing. And what I mean by this is, if you haven't done this already, find that music, that piece of music or different pieces of music that really light you up, that really just take you into the emotional truth of your film, and then listen to those on repeat before you actually do your writing. Get yourself in not just the mind state, the mental state of what you want to write, but get yourself into the emotional state of what you want to write. If you're quivering with fear and now you're writing this scary scene, I guarantee you it's going to be so much more powerful than if you're just sitting there a little bit bored, gazing out the window, trying to write this scary scene. If you are just bawling your eyes out and you're just completely feeling so sad as you write this sad scene, it's going to have so much more power than if you are chewing your gum and listening to hip hop music. So use music as a tool to help yourself get in the mood and let the emotions rise. Because here is one of the standout secrets to me. A screenplay that gets your attention is one that makes you feel something. And I often think this about movies. They're called movies. They move us. Most films make us feel something. Now, I believe there are other things that movies do for us that can be the reason that we pay for a ticket and the reason that we love the movie. For instance, it might make you think. It might be intellectually appealing. It might be very original stylistically, and that can dazzle you, and that can be amazing. It might just be very technically well done, like something that is just so full of chutzpah in the way that it's written that you're like, wow. But one of the ways that I think most people respond to the strongest is emotions. What the film makes you feel, what the script makes you feel. And so if your script really makes somebody feel something, I guarantee it's on the path to standing out, because most scripts don't do that. They tell you that sad things are happening, but they don't let you feel the sadness. You're reading the script and you're like, oh, well, that's quite sad, but you're not crying. Or you're reading it and thinking, well, that could be quite funny, but you're not laughing. Your script should make the reader feel what the audience would feel watching the movie. And this is that next level of screenwriting that I think is so elusive to so many screenwriters. Sure, you have good characters, you have a good story, you have a command over screenwriting style, but you're not taking it to that level where the reader cannot put your script down and really is moved by your film. When you master that, you are on the fast track to a standout screenplay. This, by the way, is what we cover in my course, Screenplay Mastery. It's all about that, how we go from good to great, how we go from adequate and fine and doing the job to actually really creating a script that someone cannot put down and that makes them feel something massive. And that course, it's part of the network. It's one of the courses that you get free when you're in the network, but you can also get it as a standalone course. I'm going to put the link in with the show notes. And if you're really serious about taking your screenplay to the next level, I really encourage you to do that course. It will change everything for you. You'll really get deep into the secrets of taking that good script and making it great. I believe that anyone can learn to write a standout screenplay. I don't think it's impossible at all, because I really do believe that screenwriting is a craft, and it's something that we can learn, and it's something we can get better at if we practice it and put our effort into it. And I just want to call out what I believe is a little bit of laziness that I see in the screenwriting world. I think quite often people aren't willing to do the work. I'm just going to be honest with you. A little bit of tough talk here. It's kind of like, I really want to write this screenplay. I have a great idea for it. I think this should be a standout script because it's such a great idea. I write one draft of it. I write two. I'm tired out by it now. And I just feel like that should be enough. I've written 2 drafts of my screenplay. Why isn't it selling? Very often, it's because your screenplay is just not good enough yet. It's just not good enough. And I'm sorry to be the tough talk today, but I feel like sometimes this is necessary. If you imagine that you wanted to be, for instance, a standout tennis player, or you wanted to be a standout swimmer, you would understand completely that you would need to put hours of practice in and receive a lot of high-level coaching in order to achieve that status. Same if you wanted to be a standout musician, like I want to be a standout piano player. You would not think I'm going to do one thing, write one screenplay and revise it once, and now I'm going to be there. That would never cross your mind. I'm going to play a few tournaments of tennis at my local club, and now I expect to be a professional at the highest level and to stand out. If you look at standout athletes or standout musicians and consider the hours that they have put in to get there, it's a lot. And so one of the secrets I want to offer to you today is your resilience, your persistence, and your willingness to be humble and to keep practicing. Not to expect to be a master of a standout screenplay with your first screenplay, with your second, or even with your third. Not to expect to be a master of writing a standout screenplay after 3 drafts. But actually to decide that if you want to be the writer of standout screenplays, you're going to have to roll up your sleeves and actually get in the trenches and learn what that means. You're going to have to raise your own standards of looking at cinema and understanding the tools of cinema. You're going to have to raise your standards of what a script can be. You're going to have to read a lot of scripts. You're going to have to take chances. You're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to do what most people are not willing to do to write a standout screenplay. And really, I think this is one of the big keys and one of the big secrets. How does somebody write a standout screenplay? They put the time in. They put the energy in. They put the investment in. They don't think that one effort is enough. They're willing to go the distance. So I want to ask you today, are you willing to go the distance? If you really want to write a standout screenplay and you think, I've got a great idea, I know this will make a great movie, are you willing to really do the work that it takes to write a standout screenplay? And sure, maybe it will be easy for you. Maybe it will come the first draft or the second. But if it doesn't, will you be willing to keep going? Will you be willing to keep learning? Will you be willing to keep evolving? Because I feel like a lot of people give up very easily. And really, if we look at, again, why do some people write standout screenplays and why do most people not? What is the difference in the mindset and the mentality and in the level of commitment in those who do succeed? I would offer to you that that is available to you, that that is available to everyone, and that it all really comes down to you deciding. So have you decided to write a standout screenplay? And are you willing to go all in to make that happen? Or are you thinking still that you can play it safe and not put in that much effort and have epic results? Because if you are, I just want to let you know, it's probably not going to work. But if you know that you are willing to do whatever it takes, that you're like, I know that this is my path. I've decided I am writing a standout screenplay. I'm going to write a screenplay that knocks the socks off of everyone who reads it. That's not just not boring, but it's actually actively freaking engaging. This kind of screenplay that someone cannot put down. Not just that they didn't get bored and it was an easy read. Was it an easy read? Sure, it was an easy read. So much more than that. Was it something that they were like, my God, Dan, I couldn't put it down. It made me cry. It just gripped me. I love it. That's a standout screenplay. And I know from my own experience that every time that I optioned a script, the producer who optioned it said to me, Diane, it made me cry. It made me laugh. I loved it. They didn't say it was an easy read. Okay. It was like, it made me feel something and I loved it and I want to take this all the way. That is the standout screenplay. And that happens when you follow your heart, yes, but when you're willing to commit and go all the way in. So if you want to go deeper into actually learning the real tools of making your screenplay stand out, check out Screenplay Mastery. It really is a course that will take your game to the next level. And honestly, if you're having problems selling your script, if you're having problems getting it out there, if you're thinking, is it the script or is it me? Let's make sure the script is not the issue. Get yourself into Screenplay Mastery and learn it. If you haven't written a screenplay at all, or you're in the process of doing it, I would also let you know that Write Your Screenplay in 8 Weeks is open for registration right now. I cannot tell you, this course is like magic. It makes me so happy. Every day we celebrate screenwriters finishing their script because of it and feeling so happy because of it and feeling like they've written the best screenplay that they could have because of it, because it really does give you all the tools you need to write a standout screenplay and get it on the page. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, get yourself to dianebell.com/screenplay and find out why it's so effective and why it's so empowering, and have the best time of your life writing your screenplay. All right, my friends, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you so much, and I will see you next week. Happy screenwriting, happy filmmaking. See you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. I know you can listen to so many different podcasts, so it really means the world to me that you chose to listen to this. If you've enjoyed this and you've had any value out of this podcast at all, can I ask a little favor? Could you please share it on social media, or go to wherever you're listening to it and leave a review so that other people can find it? I really, really appreciate it so much. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see you the next one. If you want to get in touch at any point, send me a message, support@dianebell.com, and also check out my website, dianebell.com, and see what I'm up to. Hopefully I'll see you in the social medias. Take care, and I'll see you next time.